Hey guys, Dev here at the Rogue Deck Chronicle podcast. If you're looking for the cards for the deck list that we're showing or talking about today, definitely give our sponsor a look at Box Boys Games. They have cards for Pokemon, Magic, and more, all through an online database. That way you can look to see what cards that you want. They also sell code cards for the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live account, so if you're looking for some more code cards, definitely give them a look. They are a super small retailer, but they're definitely able to reach out globally thanks to their online platform. So again, if you're looking for cards for the deck for the cards that we're talking about today, give them a shout at Box Boys Games. Their link will be in the description of this video, and let's jump into some matches to see how we're doing.
Hello there everybody, Dev here with the Rogue Deck Chronicle podcast, and this week I want to showcase a deck and a card that got better with Mega Evolution, and that's the Hydrapple EX card and deck archetype. So Hydrapple EX is a stage 2 EX, so 330 HP, grass type, that has the ability Ripen Charge. Once your turn, you may attach a basic grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you attach an energy this way, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. But it has the Syrup Storm attack for 2 colors, that's 30 base damage, and does 30 more for each grass energy attached to all your Pokemon. So you're going to ask, how did this get better? Well, it got better with the Meganium that got released in the Mega Evolution set. So Meganium has the ability Wild Growth. Each basic grass energy attached to all your Pokemon provides 2 grass energy instead of 1. The effect of Wild Growth does not stack. So what we're going to do is we are going to put energy onto our board and attack with Hydrapple. And we can do upwards of 590 damage if we get a perfect game state. So you're going to ask, how do we get that happening efficiently so we can attack turn over turn? Well, first off, we're going to have a very unique draw engine of Teal Ogerpon. Players of the game, you guys know Teal Ogerpon does by now. Teal Dance, once during your turn, you may attach a basic grass energy from your hand to this Pokemon. If you attach an energy this way, you may draw a card. So we just Teal Dance for 1 and attach and keep on going. And then has Myriad Leaf Shower, which is 30 plus 30 more for every energy attached to both active. But we really don't want to attack with Teal Mask. We can, but we don't want to. We want to be attacking with the Hydrapple. Other aspects of the deck, like we mentioned, the Hydrapple line, we're doing a 2-2-2 line of Hydrapple, a 2-2-2 line of the Meganium. We are running 1 Budew for early game, kind of item lock pressure to help us set up, because we do need a couple turns to set up. So Budew with the free retreat definitely allows us to do that. We are going to be running a 1-1 line of the Toedscruel here with the Slime Mold Colony ability. Cards in your opponent's discard pile cannot be put into their hand by the effects of their abilities or their trainer cards. So once we have Toedscruel in play, they can't use trainers and abilities to put cards back into their hand from their discard pile. Now, cards from the discard pile can go back into the deck, but not into the hand. We do run 1 Fezandipiti for draw when we get KO'd, and then we are running 1 of Zarude here with the Jungle Whip attack for 3 energy, which is really just 2 energy when we have Meganium in play. And you may put all energy cards attached to this Pokemon into your hand to have this attack do 80 more, so we can do 160 and put 2 to 3 energy back into our hand, which we can use the next turn with our Teal Masks and different things like that. Now, in terms of our item supporter stadiums, we run 4 Bug Catching Set. It gets everything in our deck except for the Fezandipiti, so it's a really good look at 7, grab 2. And we run 4 of those, help us thin out. We do run 3 Nest Ball to help us set up to get the Teal Mask Ogerpon in play. 4 Ultra Ball, so if we don't get it on the Bug Catching Set, we can Ultra Ball it into our hand. And then what really makes all this kind of flow together is the new stadium for Mega Evolution, Forest of Vitality. Each player's grass Pokemon can evolve into grass Pokemon during the turn those Pokemon were played, except for during your first turn. So we just don't play Forest of Vitality turn 1, and starting turn 2, we just go off to the races. Now, in terms of supporters, we run 4 Lillie's Determination, again, maximize our shuffle draw. 3 Iono, Disruption and shuffle draw as well. We run 3 Research. We want to be aggressive. We want to dig through our deck as quick as possible. So even though we may have to discard part of our hand, the idea is that we don't discard a lot when we play the Research. We run 2 Boss's Orders, along with 1 Counter Catcher. So those are our gusting cards. The ace spec of choice for this deck is Unfair Stamp. So we can only use it if we get knocked out, but they get to draw 2, we draw 5. Again, we do a lot of shuffle draw in this deck. We want to be able to keep as many resources in play or in the deck as possible instead of being in the discard pile. In terms of recovery, we run 2 Super Rod and 1 Night Stretcher. If we do get any of our evolution lines knocked out, the Super Rod can put a full evolution line back into the deck, then we can draw it in. And then the Night Stretcher will allow us to pick a piece if we're missing 1 piece from the discard pile. To wrap it up, this is 9 basic grass energy. Keep in mind, this 9 really does the math calculations of up to 18. So we do have enough to hit high numbers in the format and everything like that. So this is the deck list. It's a fairly universal list for a Hydrapple. I know there's probably a little bit of tweaks here and there you probably see online and other places. But this is generally where it kind of sits average-wise in terms of what's in the deck. So this deck list will be in the description of the video like always. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear from our sponsor and then jump into a few games. Okay, let's jump into a match here. We are going first, leading with Teal Mask Ogerpon. So not the worst lead in the world. We have Nest Ball, Lillies, and looks like we're running into a Golden Go list of some form. So this is going to be kind of fun. So let's thin the deck out just a tad here. I want to grab a second Teal Mask. I want to Teal Dance, turn 1 here to get this another card. Let's Bug Catching Set, let's see what we can grab. Let's grab 2 energy for now. So we can Teal Mask, or Teal Dance again. Another Bug Catching Set, that's actually not the worst. So we want to grab... Let's grab 2 pieces of our Applin line here. And then we'll attach to the Applin and then end up just passing turn. 3 energy, got some pieces. So let's see what our opponent does. Fighting Gong, seeing the Soul Rock, yep. So we know our opponent's going to be setting up this upcoming turn, getting cards in hand, getting evolution pieces. So let's talk about what we want to do. So we would love to get an energy off the top of the deck. If not, we can always Lillie Determinations for 8 and kind of just reset. But our opponent is just going in on the Fighting Gong here. The Golden Go engine with the Soul Rock engine here was a combination I never saw coming, but it's doing really, really well on online tournaments and tournaments in Japan. And as you see here, our opponent is really going in as efficiently as possible. Almost very similar to how we were going in fairly efficiently. So, Cosmic Beam, 70. So he's just putting pressure on us right now. So what we could do, well, we really can't do much. We can't boss. So let's do exactly that. Let's get the Lillies. We got energy galore here. That's fantastic to see. We're also getting a Dipplin, which is nice. So let's Nest Ball. Ooh, our Toedscool is prized. So I'm gonna grab in Fezandipiti right now. I think the Fezandipiti is a play for the KO piece. Like, we want to kind of see the KO happen. And then we'll Teal Dance again. Let's see what we get off this Teal Dance. Another Lillies. We're going to attack here. I want to slow down this draw engine here. Taking 1 prize doesn't feel the greatest, but I don't want him to keep on being able to draw. I'd rather him try to struggle. So we get the boss. And we haven't really started getting the Chikorita Meganium line into play, but we got everything else into play, which is not horrible. As you see, turn 2, we have 6 energy into play. Like, this, the engine's working. So now we just need to be able to double that. Energy doubling is amazing. And he had another Soul Rock in hand already. Okay. So, I don't feel awful with knocking out the Soul Rock there. We really didn't have much other options. Because I really didn't want to give him a Dipplin. If this was a Hydrapple, that would have been a little different. But now we're seeing a chance of a Golden Go this turn. So what I'm thinking we need to do is go after a potential Golden Go and just put that Gimme Go back a turn. So we have Forest of Vitality. I don't actually, yeah, we can get some pieces. That would be fantastic. I like these pieces. I like these pieces, but we're just not there to where we can retreat and attack in the same combination of turns. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to Lillies for 6. We didn't get really what we were looking for at all. So we're just going to do Coded Attack. It does 40. It prevents any damage from basic Pokemon. But what I'm really worried about is this Gimmighoul turning into a Golden Go real quick. That's my biggest worry. Because I did want to get rid of a boss and a couple other pieces in the hand. That's why I wanted to shuffle it back in. And I didn't want to Iono him into a more cards. But seeing that, all this, our opponent's really going off right now. Minus the evolution. Like, we haven't seen an evolution. That's the one piece that's saving us right now, is the lack of evolutions on our opponent's side. Because once we get a Hydrapple in the play, 330 is doable, but it will help us stabilize where we can kind of just get other pieces ready to go. So we're going to see the retreat to a Soul Rock. So we're going to see the 70. Okay. But because we coded attack, we weren't going to get any damage. So that's always great to see. And another Lillies. I'm going to Iono. I want to get these cards in the bottom of our deck because we don't need them now, and I don't want the shuffle back into potentially. So we're going to limit him down. We're going to get some pieces here. And then we're going to Ultra Ball for the Hydrapple. If it gets KO'd, we have Fezandipiti live. I just want to force a very big turn by our opponent here. To where if they want to do anything to Hydrapple, they're going to have to put a lot of resources into that. And we're just one energy away or an evolution away from really popping off. So there's a Golden Go. So 260 isn't hard for Hydrapple to do. It is resistance, so really we're trying to hit 290. Again, not really the hardest number for us to hit. But right now, I don't see, with the amount of cards they have, they can get to 330 this turn, but they may be able to. Because they're gonna retreat and coin bonus. But again, I wanted them to overextend this turn, or have the potential of overextending this turn. They're only going to coin bonus for 1 instead of doing the retreat and coin bonus for a second. Ooh. Okay. They're retreating now. So I think they would have to 7 of these 8 have to be energy. I think they got it with superior energy retrieval. Because they're going to put 4 in already, and then out of those 5 that were there, they just needed 3 of those 5 to be energy. Yeah, they got it. If they're ARVing, that means they're getting another superior energy retrieval, which means they get what they need. But again, you see the amount of resources we're forcing our opponent to go through just to take a knockout on a Hydrapple. So a lot of these cards are going to go into the discard pile. And if we had the Toedscruel, that would have been great, but we don't. So I'm not necessarily worried too much here. We have an Iono. I want to Iono ourselves up to 5 first, and then draw 3. So it's Bug Catching Set. And thin cards out of the deck. Let's grab 3 more. Let's look at the Night Stretcher. The Night Stretcher would only get us 1, which isn't the greatest, but it's something. So we'll just grab the Applin, because we have the Dipplin in hand as well. So we can try to restabilize. Let's Teal Dance. A Chikorita, so we're just always just 1 card away. It's really a little unfortunate. But we'll put pressure 120 this turn. Because we have researched all these cards we can really just dump next turn. Alrighty, so our opponent now, I'm curious on how they're going to try to restabilize. Because they have to do 140, so that's 3 energy. They've already dumped a whole bunch of energy into the discard pile already. They've already used 2 superior energy retrievals. So I'm curious on how they're going to kind of rebound with us. Because I feel like there's a 3rd superior energy retrieval. So they're going to get the energies they need for this knockout. But I feel like with us already having a Dipplin kind of sitting, they're going to go down to 2 prizes, but we can go and just kind of put a lot more pressure now. So I'm curious on what they're going to do. Unless they retreat, evolve, retreat, and get 2, and then these 2, they're stacking more energy. Because we've only seen 1 golden go. That's maybe not the concerning part, but it's something we definitely have to be considering. It's the fact that they're just 2 cards away from popping off again as well. Lunar Cycling, okay. So they got their hand back. They're going to make it rain. All they have to do is discard 3. But they have definitely used a lot of resources just to kind of get us into this position here. So let's put up the Dipplin. We have the Fezandipiti. I don't feel bad by doing this. So let's see what we can get first. So just a Meganium, which is still part of what we need. And then let's research for a fresh hand. Let's Super Rod back in some pieces. So we're going to Super Rod. And we still have pieces to, we still have some stuff to rebound here, so we're in a good spot. And On a spot I feel comfortable. Let's put it that way. Maybe. Okay. Okay. Let's unfair stamp them down to 2, us back to 5. We're just missing just pieces here and there. Okay, we need to get a Hydrapple. That's kind of the piece here. And we do. And I say we do, we get the Ultra Ball. We got the Hydrapple. We're gonna evolve here. And then we're doing 300. And we're going to take the KO here. Okay, so we'll take 2 more prizes. So what I was thinking about a little bit was nest balling the Applin that's in deck to see if we can kind of get another one going. But what I didn't want to do was give them a simple target. But if they're going to target anything, they probably would target the Fezandipiti or the Teal mask anyway. So being a little conservative there. But with the Forest of Vitality, we can just put all the pieces down 1 turn. So they're coin bonusing. I would love to see the combination that they have right now. Because we have a boss. And I feel bossing up the Fezandipiti the next turn is probably the better play. That way they don't have another recovery piece next turn. That's the 4th energy retrieval. So I'm curious if we should Iono them down again. Where do we have a counter catcher in the discard? We have not seen our counter catcher, so if we can get our counter catcher, that would be great. Because we can Iono counter catcher kind of situation. Because right now all their cards would have to be energies to even put a dent here. But even if they say they do half, we would have to kind of do some... Oh, they don't even attack. They don't even attack. Okay. So... I am willing... Let's Teal dance. Okay. Let's get 2 prizes. So our counter catcher now is not live. There's Toedscool. A little late on there, buddy. So... Alright. Are they just 1 turn too late is my question. Or do they have enough pieces left to do 350, which is 7 energy? So 7 out of 10 has to be energy, or 7 out of 11 really once they finish this draw. Do they have 7 energy in there? That's my question. Because there's 1 card left. We targeted that Fezandipiti so they weren't able to draw everything. So Are they going to Lunar Cycle to get the last card, which would make them still lose an energy, so that would be at best 0. They're bossing something up. Probably the Meganium. Actually, the Fezandipiti. I think they're going to boss Fezandipiti for 5, and that's much easier to do than for 7. So 5 out of 9 has B energy, which I think is realistic here. Yep, I think that's game. They wouldn't draw everything out like that if they didn't have the match. Nope, they did not. They thought they could have with that last card, but they didn't. So there's a nice little match against Go. Really good back and forth there. So let's jump into another match to see how we do. Okay, let's jump into another match here. We are going first, so we're going to lead with Chikorita and just hold the rest of the hand. We do have Bug Catching Set and a Nest Ball, but we do see a Teal Max Ogerpon, a lot of grass in front of us. So I'm very curious on what we are going to be playing against for this match. But we see that 2 of our Teal Masks are prized, so we're going to have to be very cautious here. But I think what we're seeing right now is not a bad opening. We'll just Bug Catching Set. Actually, put a Toedscool into play, and then we'll end turn right here with the Chikorita in the active, kind of see what happens to it, because we have a full line in the hand. So I'm very curious if this one's even going to live, to be quite honest with you. No, it does live. Okay. So we have a very interesting situation in front of us here. So first things first, let's get rid of their stadium. I like our stadium better. And we are going to at least get one Meganium in play. Yes, the effective wild growth does not stack, but that Chikorita may not even live long enough for it to matter. Alright, let's see what we Teal Mask here. We do get a Bug Catching Set. Let's Bug Catching Set. Let's get a Hydrapple into play. And I'm going to end turn here with that. So my concern is a boss Teal Mask Ogerpon hitting into us kind of situation, because we did miss on some energies here. Because 2 of our Teal Masks are prized, like we just know that. So they're gonna. Oh, okay. I think I want to thin my hand just a tad here. I want to thin my hand just enough to where this gets us 8 cards. One of them had to be an energy. Perfect. So I'm going to play a couple steps here just out of abundance of caution, because I want to make sure that when I put the stadium in play here, this Chikorita goes bye-bye. So we do 240 for the win there. So that's unfortunate for our opponent that they weren't really able to do much, and how we kind of just got fairly set up. I mean, we weren't perfect by any means, so there's the 2 Teal masks. So we got the KO, we got the win. So let's jump into another match to see if we can really show off the strength of this deck. Alrighty, let's jump into another match. We are going second, so we're going to lead with a Budew. Put that Teal mask onto the bench and kind of see what our opponent gives us here. Black Kyurem. Okay. Okay. So let's see what... With a Blood Moon or Saluna. Why would you... maybe they're trying to survive. Oddish. Cleffa. I'm intrigued on this concept of the deck, but we'll see. But most importantly, let's get our setup ready to go. We want to get set up ourselves. So we're in a Teal dance. Draw another card. And it's an Ultra Ball, so we'll grab a Nest Ball here. We'll Nest Ball and grab an Applin. And then we are going to Ultra Ball away a Research and a Stadium. So we can grab Chikorita and just get those base pieces ready to go. And then we are going to put the Lillie. The Stadium doesn't help us right now, but I will put the Fezandipiti in play. And we'll put an energy on the Applin just in case. And then we'll Itchy Pollen. Just put 10 damage and item lock our opponent next turn. And kind of see what the next stage is. We could have put the Stadium in play, but we already discarded a Stadium for the Ultra Ball. And seeing that our opponent has a Gloom, like I didn't want to give them a free Vileplume potentially. So I'm okay to play it out a little slower next turn for us. Especially since they're item locked. Okay. And there's a Lillie, so it's actually not a bad situation for us. So awesome. So we're gonna Ultra Ball away. For another Teal mask here. We're gonna put the Teal mask into play. We're gonna Night Stretcher back that energy we just discarded, so we can Teal mask or Teal dance. I keep on calling it Teal mask. That's Teal dance. Let's Bug Catching Set a middle stage here. We'll get the energy onto this Teal mask Ogerpon just in case this Lillie doesn't give us what we're looking for. It really doesn't, unfortunately. So I'm willing to put pressure on our opponent right now, just do high damage. So we're doing 180. Just a little shy. We're 2 energy shy. But next turn, we should be able to go off. And be able to really get this Applin to get into a Hydrapple pretty quickly. What I probably want to really do is start focusing on this Ursaluna, because it can be really dangerous really quickly. Giving us the Cleffa. Okay. Because he's just going to Grasping Draw and end this turn more than likely. Yep. So let's try to get an Applin, try to get a boss ready to go. So we're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. So I'm okay throwing a Forest Vitality. They already have a Bloom that's a stage away. So I want to see fresh cards. I want to see 8 fresh cards here. Okay, it doesn't give us what we're looking for exactly, but it gives us pieces to work with here. So we're going to Meganium. We're going to Teal Dance. We're going to Bug Catching Set again. We're just missing out on the Dipplin for a turn here. We have a Super Rod, so we'll be able to get some of these cards back. So, as much as this doesn't feel great, it doesn't really turn the Ursaluna on too hard yet. So I'm okay with it for now. So we'll just grab a prize. It gives us a boss's orders, which is great. So then we can start really focusing on that Blood Moon. The Kofu's gonna get played. We have the Super Rod as well. So if we do lose this Teal Mask somehow, we can still recover 3/4 of the pieces fairly easily. So I'm not too concerned about that as much. He's gonna do 90 to us probably. It's gonna, because I really don't want to get rid of all these pieces, so I'm not going to be able to recover all of them. So a Research in hand right now isn't the greatest supporter. I wouldn't hate it being Iono, but no, we're not going to. So Force Vitality. So we're be turning on this Oddish for our opponent, which can feel a little awkward. But the Vileplume isn't being super disruptive, so I'm not the worst feeling right now. So he just triggered his counter gain. So he's going to take a prize lead on us, which isn't horrible because then now our counter catcher is live for us to take down some of those 2 prizes that we can take down. So like we said, those pieces we can recover very easily. Put those back into the deck. Let's flip the script to see what we get. We get an Iono. Iono in 5 is not going to feel awful. I still want the Teal Dance here. We got the Dipplin. We have a Hydrapple. I want a counter catcher. That Blood Moon first. Let's promote. We're doing 270, so we can kind of just chill. I'm going to put another Applin into play to kind of get a backup potentially ready to go. No real need to do anything else this turn, because we have resources in our hand that we can kind of trigger next turn if we lose pieces. So I kind of want to sit on them for just a turn. So we're going to knock out this Blood Moon. It really was, to me, the biggest endgame threat. And I think it's going to be one of the few chances we're going to have to really utilize that counter catcher in this match. If he KOs, if he tries to do high damage to us, he's going to risk KOing himself. And then if we don't get our hand disrupted, we can boss that Fezandipiti. Because I'm okay with kind of poking around these pieces. That Kyurem doesn't give me any real threat or fear. Because it can't do 330 to us. So I'm okay with kind of poking things around. And kind of just being like, alright, let's take a 2-prizer next turn. And then kind of deal with the 1 prize afterwards. Because we can handle everything afterwards right now. I see no world that he's going to use the second attack. I think he's just going to hit us for 90. Which then will give us an opportunity to kind of still set up. Try to get the second Dipplin into play. Oh no, he does knock himself out. Interesting play. Very interesting play. Because now we win. He just gave us the game. Yep, he just gave us the game with that. But that shows how we can kind of set up and withstand different types of attacks and kind of just play a little slower when we need to versus playing aggressive all the time. So, nice fun match. Nice to see different decks on the ladders every once in a while as well. So as you can see, Hydrapple got better with the inclusions of the Meganium and also the Stadium Forest of Vitality, where we're able to accelerate up on a moment's notice. We're able to kind of just use the Teal Mask Ogerpon to get energy onto the board, to fill our hand size up, and really be able to just get damage done based on energy on board, not even energy on a particular Pokemon, which is why Teal Mask was always one of those harder Pokemon to do. If your opponent could play around how many energy they're putting, you're not going to make your damage cap. But Hydrapple doesn't care about that. So that was really, really cool. It's a fun deck. It's a card that I was really hoping got better, and it definitely did with this Mega Evolution set. So, as always, the deck list will be in the description of the video. If you look at the deck list and be like, you know what, I think 1 or 2 cards can change, definitely let us know. We love to see what small little edits you can make to our lists for them to fit either your playstyle or even make the deck even more optimized than it already is. Because a lot of the times when we're building these decks, we know they're not perfect, but they get us to a point where we're happy, satisfied with the results we're getting onto the ladder. So it's all up to you. This deck is something I would definitely bring to Elite Cup. It is high rolling and it's all matchup dependent, but I think it's definitely doable and it can still punch pretty well above its weight. And you can get some good matches against some of the top tier decks as well. But as always, guys, thank you for making it this far in the video. We greatly appreciate it. If you do, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. It helps us grow, helps us be able to show more people fun decks that we come up with. And as always, guys, have fun playing those sneaky decks.